With that pattern, you could actually go and fly to the moon, because they're the patterns that are interesting. I was floored by how impressed people were at my skills when I went to the US to work in the Napa Valley for the wine stuff, when I felt like the dumbest person in my math class at uni, because I was with the smartest guys in like Victoria, and I felt dumb, but I wasn't dumb. And you know what I mean? And it's like you could run rings around them with, I don't know how much maths you've done, but it's having the right attitude, having the right approach, and going, I don't know the answer, but leave it with me.
I can work on it.
Yeah, I'm going to work this out.
Yeah,
or you talk to people and you know how to talk, you know how to work things out. Yeah, it's just really, really important. And these are skills that you need to learn. But the thing is that it's kind of like it just has, the hardest part is kind of getting started, getting that inertia. But once you start learning something, like I surprised myself at having to learn something that I thought I couldn't learn mathematically. But because I've done so much maths, it's like I actually kind of worked out, I see how these things come together.
So you'd gathered a bit of momentum, and from there,
well, I learned how to learn.
See where you could. Yeah, that's right.
But it's kind of like in athletics as well. It's like a really good rugby player or whatever, or a footballer. They learn they learn the skills, but then it's like, okay, we're going to try doing something else, and they will be able to adapt.
Well, then you meet those people who they've picked that up, and then they can just walk into any sport, and they can learn the particular skills that fit that, almost automatically.
Yeah, and they kind of know. And it's the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I want people to understand that there are parallels in the world that people understand and think that is real world. There's a real world. This is a competition between sports people, and it's real. This is real, life and death, and we're going to learn, and we're going to focus, and we're going to, it comes down to the smallest of. When you think about a sports match, I mean, even like the finals, I mean, they are so evenly matched usually, and it comes down to sometimes points.
These
you're talking about the tiniest margins that people go, "Woo, we are the champions and we're the losers." It's like, guys, everyone's a winner there. You know what I mean? It's like you're all amazing. Like, physically, I can't do what you do.
When you did the comparison, it was just this particular thing went that way instead of that way.
Yeah. And sometimes it's about those margins, but that's what people celebrate. And so the other point I wanted to mention was like, in terms of patterns that mean something. I got asked by journalists on the 12th of the 12th of the 12th what the significance of that was, and it was like, what does that mean? And it's like, well, the way that we've cut up a time in the way we've done it is that we do 12 months. Really, it would make sense to have 13 months and have them 4 weeks each, which would be perfect. But anyway, we do 12 months, and it's the 12th day, and it's the 12th year, but not really. It's 2012, and not really if you ask, someone like a Jewish person will tell you someone different, Chinese, or like, Islam or whatever. It's like all these different religions have different ways. But anyway, it's an arbitrary thing. But I tell you what, if you drop a ball at different heights and you measure the time that it takes for that ball to drop, okay, and if you measure that out and do it, you'll actually be able to draw a line through that, and you'll get a pattern. And with that pattern, you could actually go and fly to the moon. They're the patterns that are interesting.
And they're not because someone said, "Oh, let's dice up time like this."
Exactly.
They're just true, and they're discovered, and then you can go from there.
So what's really interesting is like it gets cultural attention, 12, 12, 12. But what's going on is that it's great because you're recognizing a pattern. You're seeing a pattern there. It's like, but don't stop there, because that pattern is meaningless. It's meaningless. It doesn't matter. 11, 11, who cares? It doesn't matter. But look at that. Look at this pattern. Look at this pattern in nature. Look at this pattern. Look what we can learn from it. And that's exactly what's happened. And so we're being lit by artificial lights, to a greater extent, like we've got a building around us and it's not killing us. It's because people have thought about stuff and patterns and forces, and they've worked out stuff. And it only works because there's patterns. If things were chaotic, me and you would not look like this. We would be foraging around on the ground, we'd be animals still, because it'd be total chaos.
It's been taking advantage of
exactly.
the patterns.
It's the patterns, yeah.
Brought us where we are.
So I'm being like totally like, 2001 epic about it, but it comes down to your life. It comes down to your life, and there are patterns that you can draw, and we do it all the time, like people will see an opportunity in the business market. They'll go, I know what I can do. I see this thing happening overseas, I'm going to bring it here. It seems very real world, it's got financial things, but to make these things work, you have to be able to think abstractly, you have to think mathematically. And that's why problem solving is so important. And in my shows, I'm just trying to have fun with it, because that's another way of getting people to see it in a different way. So to try and drill us all the way back, the reason why I'm here is because I really want to, I've been able to work out how to make people laugh, which is why, that gets people attention, because people get a payoff for it. But that's part of hopefully it's part of, I've been able to explain it in a kind of rambling way.
No, well, you've been really generous with your time.
Oh, thank you.
If people wanted to know a bit more about what you do,
yes,
or get in contact with you, how would they do that?
Hi. Well, you can go to my website, www.numbercrunch.com.au. You can see my work on Numberphile, which I think is fantastic. Just put Numberphile into YouTube, and if you don't know what YouTube is, just put that into Google. And if you don't know what Google is, can't help you. Oh no, go into Yahoo. Stick that Google into Yahoo.
If it's still around,
Yeah, do AOL. But yeah, I'm available to do work and shows, I think, and getting pretty busy. But anyway, it's been great. So this has been an incredible show. Thank you very much, Eddie.
No worries. Cheers, Simon.